McCormick dropping $45 billion to swallow Unilever's food business is wild. I love a good spice monopoly.
Read the footnotes, Nate. Unilever shareholders get 55% of the new company. McCormick is the one getting eaten.
Oh, come on. It is a transformative merger.
It is a reverse takeover wrapped in garlic powder, but it tracks. Q1 just crossed $1 trillion in deal value, but actual volume is at a 10-year low.
Nobody buys small anymore. Speaking of hunting whales, wait until we look at the premium Biogen just paid. The rundown.
$1 trillion in Q1. That's a massive number, Nate, but you have to look at the volume. It's the lowest deal count we've seen since 2015.
Everyone is swinging for the fences. It's the era of the mega deal. You have a 35% surge in total deal value, but nobody wants to bother with the middle market right now.
Because if you're going to pay the lawyer fees to fight the FTC, you might as well make it worth your while. Which brings us to Biogen, $5.6 billion all cash for Apellis Pharmaceuticals, $41 a share.
It's a smart, rare disease play. Bolsters their immunology portfolio perfectly. But you think the FTC is actually going to flag this?
They're reportedly sharpening their claws on healthcare right now. I wouldn't be shocked if this gets a second request.
I completely disagree. I think the regulatory watchdogs are way too distracted by AI and infrastructure. Look at the AES deal. BlackRock and EQT are teaming up to take them out for $33 billion. $33 billion for an infrastructure play.
Okay, fair. But don't ignore the AI scrutiny, especially with the gossip coming out of OpenAI this week.
Oh, the $110 billion equity raise?
$110 billion, backed by Amazon, Nvidia, and SoftBank. That's not just operating capital, Nate. That's a war chest. They're gearing up for massive AI acquisitions down the line.
SoftBank throwing money around again. Nature is healing. Meanwhile, Carlyle is quietly taking a majority stake in MAI Capital at a $2.8 billion valuation. The wealth management roll-up machine simply refuses to stop.
It's practically a utility at this point. Oh, and we finally have closure on Playlist and EGYM. That fitness tech merger is officially done, valuing the new giant at $7.5 billion.
I give it exactly 18 months before someone takes a massive goodwill impairment charge on that one.
Wow. Cynical banker Nate is out in full force today.
Hey, I've seen too many connected bikes end up in landfills. I know a top-of-market fitness multiple when I see one. But if you want to talk about a deal that actually makes me hungry, we need to head to the grocery store.
Yes. Let's talk about the $45 billion elephant in the spice aisle. The big one.
I just keep staring at the structure of this McCormick deal. $45 billion to swallow Unilever's food business.
Swallow is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, Nate. If you read the actual filing, Unilever shareholders are walking away with 55.1% of the combined company.
Sure, but
Plus, McCormick is handing them $15.7 billion in cash. It is practically a reverse takeover wearing a McCormick trench coat.
McCormick gets to keep the name on the door, and their management team runs the show. It is a massive flex. They are nearly tripling their size.
Tripling their size eventually. The target close date is mid-2027. My dog will be in middle school by the time this transaction actually clears.
Okay, point taken on the timeline. But look at the strategic fit. You are taking the king of spices and dry rubs and marrying it to the king of mayonnaise and bouillon. It creates a global flavor behemoth. It is the ultimate grocery aisle monopoly.
Spoken like a true former banker who hasn't pushed his own cart through a grocery store since 2010.
I will have you know I buy my own fancy mustard. Sometimes.
My issue is the sheer risk of that timeline. They are giving up majority equity control to Unilever's base, emptying their corporate couch cushions for almost $16 billion in cash, and sitting in regulatory purgatory for 3 years.
You have to pay up for scale right now. You just have to. Look at the macro picture. We just crossed $1 trillion in global M&A activity for the first quarter.
Right, but you were leaving out the second half of that analyst note. Deal volume actually dropped to its lowest level since 2015.
Exactly my point. The middle market is completely frozen. People are in this holding pattern of cautious optimism because of policy uncertainty. If you are going to do a deal in this environment, you do a mega deal, you buy the whole aisle.
So we have a 35% surge in deal value driven entirely by massive unwieldy conglomerates smashing into each other. It feels desperate.
I strongly disagree. It's not desperate, it's highly defensive. Unilever gets a graceful exit from a slow growth division with a boatload of cash to reinvest. McCormick gets the scale to dictate pricing to every supermarket on Earth. It is a win-win.
Assuming the FTC does not block the aisle, they are already sharpening their claws on AI and healthcare megadeals. You really think regulators are going to ignore the fact that one company now controls half the pantry?
The food business is way too fragmented globally for a fatal antitrust block. They will have to divest a few niche salad dressing brands, maybe a regional hot sauce. It is a rounding error.
I am writing that down. A regional hot sauce rounding error. We will check the tape in 2027.
Please do. I stand by it. Big deals are the only way to move the needle right now.
Well, speaking of moving the needle and paying up for scale, Biogen is testing that exact theory in healthcare. They just dropped $5.6 billion in all cash for Apellis Pharmaceuticals.
$41 a share for a rare disease portfolio. Now that is a completely different kind of premium. Voices. I am so sick of the phrase cautious optimism,
It is the official mascot of Q1 2026.
right? Every analyst note this morning says the exact same thing. A holding pattern of cautious optimism. Meanwhile, deal value is up 35%. We just crossed the $1 trillion mark for the quarter. What exactly is cautious about $1 trillion?
The volume, Nate. You have to look at the volume. It is at its lowest level since 2015.
But the dollars are massive. We are seeing $33 billion for AES, $45 billion for McCormick and Unilever. That is pure banker swagger, not caution.
No, that is defensive consolidation. When volume falls through the floor but value spikes, it means the middle market is completely frozen. Only the giants can get financing right now, so they are just buying each other.
Oh, come on, I disagree. You do not drop $45 billion on a food merger because you are scared. You do it because you want to own the entire grocery aisle.
Or because your organic growth is flatlining and you need to buy revenue. I read the footnotes on these mega deals. The synergies they project are basically fairy tales.
Spoken like a true former journalist.
I prefer the term professional skeptic. And speaking of giants with massive war chests, did you see the gossip on OpenAI?
The $110 billion equity raise.
Exactly. Backed by Amazon, Nvidia, and SoftBank. That is not just a capital raise. That is an M&A slush fund waiting to be deployed.
Oh, absolutely. They are going to buy everything not nailed down in the AI infrastructure space.
If the FTC lets them. Which brings us to the actual elephant in the room. Regulatory watchdogs are already sharpening their claws on AI and healthcare.
Which means Biogen might have a massive headache trying to close that $5.6 billion Apellis deal. We really need to look at exactly how antitrust is playing this next round. Spill the tea. $110 billion. I just need to say that out loud so it feels real.
It's not real yet, Nate. It is literally a whisper.
A whisper backed by Amazon, Nvidia, and SoftBank. That's not a whisper, Maya. That's a foghorn. If OpenAI actually pulls off a $110 billion equity raise, they aren't just building models anymore. They are building a war chest. They're going shopping.
Okay, let's play this out. Say they get the cash. Who exactly are they buying? Because the FTC has been sharpening its claws for months. You really think regulators are going to just sit back and let OpenAI gobble up AI infrastructure companies?
I think when you have that much capital, you buy whatever you want and pay the lawyers to figure it out later. Look at the broader market right now. We just crossed the $1 trillion mark for the quarter. Mega deals are officially back on the menu.
The total value crossed $1 trillion, yes, because of a 35% surge in deal value. But look at the actual deal volume. The number of transactions dropped to its lowest level since 2015.
Exactly my point. Quality over quantity.
Oh, come on. That is such a banker spin. It's not quality over quantity. It's a few massive companies doing giant strategic mega deals because the mid-market is absolutely terrified of policy uncertainty right now. Analysts are literally calling it a holding pattern of cautious optimism.
Cautious optimism still has the word optimism in it. People are writing big checks again.
They're writing big checks that might never clear. Regulatory watchdogs are circling AI and healthcare like sharks. I'll believe these mega deals close when the ink is dry on the final approval.
Spoken like a true footnotes nerd. But speaking of massive checks and giant strategic mega deals, we need to talk about the weirdest flavor combination of the decade.
Please tell me you aren't going to make a cooking pun.
I am absolutely making a cooking pun. McCormick is cooking up a $45 billion transaction with Unilever, and things are getting spicy. Tomorrow's radar. Tomorrow, I am refreshing the FTC docket every 10 minutes for this $5.6 billion Biogen buyout of Apellis.
You are wasting your time. Apellis is a rare disease play with zero portfolio overlap. You should be watching the AI side.
Zero overlap on paper, sure. But regulators are treating every healthcare mega deal like a cartel right now.
I do not buy it. The real antitrust bloodbath is coming for tech. Look at OpenAI's $110 billion equity raise.
Amazon, Nvidia, and SoftBank backing them. That is not a war chest, Maya. That is the GDP of a small country.
Exactly. The second they use that cash to swallow AI infrastructure startups, the FTC will actually care.
Okay, fair. Meanwhile, my mid-market banker friends are suddenly real estate experts.
The sale-leaseback surge.
Yep. Deal volume just hit its lowest point since 2015. Middle market guys are desperately monetizing their warehouses just to fund their next acquisitions.
I want to see the footnotes on those terms. We will tear apart the math on those lease structures on tomorrow's show.